Ven the raven and Clever, the crippled white crow, were heading to Sidara's pumpkin fields, eager to peck at the pumpkins, because their seeds were a delicacy they enjoyed and those seeds were some of the best of the region. When they noticed something unusual, the scarecrow wasn't on guard. Instead of focusing on eating those tasty seeds, they became fixated on one question: where had the scarecrow gone? It wouldn't be any fun not having the scarecrow scare them as they stole the seeds they ate. Earlier that day, a gust of wind had stolen the scarecrow's hat. Determined to retrieve it, the scarecrow hopped off his pole and ran after it. But as he chased it, the wind blew stronger, carrying the hat further and further away. With each step, he began to unravel, straw spilling out from his seams. Before long, he wasn't in the field at all. He was strewn in several fields by the wind. Ven and Clever, perched on the roof of the underground barn, watched the trail of straw disappear into the distance. Where could he have gone? Clever croaked, his white feathers puffing up with worry. I don't know, but this is more interesting than seeds, Ven replied, focusing his gleaming dark eyes into the distance. And if we don't do something, he will blow away and never return. We won't have anyone to scare us off, and that won't be any fun. I enjoy sneaking in, stealing, and eating the seeds. Clever called in a favor to the witch Moria, hoping she might help. Before long, Moria arrived in her enchanted white carriage, her trusty black cat Daniel Thorn sitting lazily beside her. He's gone, isn't he? Moria muttered, eyeing the mess of straw scattered across the field. Well, let's get to it. Wolves must have got him, she uttered. Who knows? Clever states. Wolves? Daniel Thorn cautiously asked while looking around. Are you lazy or scared or lazy? Or both? She asked rapidly. Lazy? All you do is sleep all day anyways. It will do you some good to get out of the cottage for a spell and stretch your legs. Spell? Daniel Thorn asked. Do you even know what one is anymore? If you knew how to cast a fix-it-all spell, we wouldn't have to waste our time and energy gathering all the straw. Daniel Thorn grumbled, stretching lazily. Hurry up. I have to get back and gaze into my crystal ball and get on. Hush you, Moria retorted, already collecting the loose straw. Speak about laziness, the cat added. But she wasn't just gathering straw, though. Her carriage was filling up with pumpkins from the fields, sneaking them away now that the scarecrow wasn't guarding them. Might as well make use of the day. I'll plant these seeds and get a better crop for the chicken town market, she said with a sly grin. Clever thought to himself, should I peck those as well and sabotage her crop again? He chuckled out loud. Moria asked, what are you laughing at? Nothing, he stated. She then, with a flick of her wrist, thrust magic out of her wand and magically covered the pumpkins under a cloak. Ven and Clever, still on their hunt for the scarecrow, saw the trail of straw leading further out of the field. What started as a simple plan to sneak in and eat some pumpkin seeds had turned into a full-fledged field trip. They followed the trail until it came to an abrupt end at a fence post. There, propped up like an eerie remnant, were the scarecrow's empty clothes and what remained of his seedless pumpkin head. Ven stuck his head in and said, Yep. Something already ate his brains. No seeds left, not one. His voice echoed within the hollow pumpkin head. Moria said, Are you that dense, Ven? Really? She added. The witch, her cat, the raven, and the crow quickly set to work, gathering what straw they could find. He's not that creepy anymore, Ven remarked as they stuffed the scarecrow's body back together. I thought he was mighty, but all along he's just full of straw. Once the scarecrow was fully stuffed, Moria stood back and surveyed their work. Well, look at that. Good as new, if not better, she said, dusting off her hands, while the others did the work. But something was missing: the scarecrow's hat. It had been carried far away by the wind, and without it, the straw man looked incomplete. What do we do now? Asked Ven, his black feathers glistening in the fading sunlight. Clever, always quick to think, cawed softly. I suppose he needs a new hat. We can't leave him like this, looking so undignified. Moria grinned. Oh, I have just the thing. She waved her wand, and from the depths of her carriage floated an old, tattered wizard's hat. It was worn but sturdy, with patches of starry fabric stitched on in odd places. She placed it atop the scarecrow's head. Daniel Thorne snickered. A wizard's scarecrow? Now he'll scare off more than birds with that look. The scarecrow blinked his carved eyes and wiggled his mouth. Where am I? He muttered faintly. You're back in your field, of course, said Moria. Had a little adventure, I hear. She added. The scarecrow shook his head, the straw inside him rustling. I only wanted my hat. Now I'm dressed like a sorcerer, and that's not a bad thing. Ven chimed in, flapping his wings. No one will dare mess with a sorcering scarecrow, not even us. While we were gone, someone came and stole some pumpkins, Moria stated while looking around acting innocently. It doesn't matter, the straw man said. They were overwatered and cursed by root rot, he added. Beautiful on the outside but rotten on the inside, he said. Moria gave a hateful grin. The world always had a way of dishing out what she always served. Clever hopped closer, his white feathers ruffling in the breeze. You might not be made of anything strong, but it turns out neither are we. You just wear it differently. The scarecrow chuckled, a sound like wind whistling through an autumn field. Perhaps you're right. I'm not as mighty as I once thought. Moria, satisfied with her work, gave a nod. Well, if you ever want to leave this field again, you know where to find me. But next time, try not to unravel all over the countryside. Daniel Thorne, curling his tail, gave the scarecrow one last lazy glance. Just stay put, and maybe next time, we won't have to gather your bits and pieces. The scarecrow smiled, his new wizard hat perched jauntily on his head. I'll stay. My duty is here after all. And so, the scarecrow returned to his post, but with a newfound sense of himself. No longer just a straw-filled sentinel, but something more. Ven and Clever flew off to their next adventure. Already cawing about the day, they helped rebuild the mighty wizard scarecrow. Moria, Daniel Thorne, and their carriage full of covered-up rotted pumpkins, rolled back home, ready for another season of spells and tricks. And as for the scarecrow, though his field was quiet and empty, he watched over what was left of the rotted pumpkins. And with a touch of magic now, with his new hat flapping in the wind, a reminder that even the most ordinary things can become extraordinary with a little help from friends. And Moria's plans backfired and were pointless as usual. She went through the trouble of stealing and lying only to find out that it didn't change anything. Only helped the scarecrow empty most of his rotting fields. And a tattered wizard hat in the depths of her carriage could be trash to her, but a true treasure on the right head.